suffers from luxating patellas, and he has some front leg deformities as well. And here is Morgan, who will be demonstrating how this will all happen.
Welcome to our live, guys. We're happy to have you here. Love working with Odie. He's definitely a sweet old man. He's got his own personality. So we're going to be putting him into the small dog rear wheelchair today. As you can see on him, he does already have the front harness on, and I just wanted to go over exactly how this is fitted and just make sure everything is set up correctly. So on every front harness, there is going to be a bottom red strap, as you will see down here, which will go right behind their front legs. And this is the only strap on the harness that actually does have a buckle. But each of the straps, the shoulder, chest, and under, all are very adjustable. You will have several inches of adjustability with it, and they do come with comfort sleeves to help prevent any of the straps from rubbing or causing any irritation. All right, so let's get him all set up in this. So as you can see, he's already laying down. He does just like to rest for a little bit, and I always like having them starting off in a resting position. I always approach from the rear with the wheelchair. I try to have it positioned right behind them. And if I can try to get him up in a standing position, or a sitting up position at least, I can start getting him set up. Thank you, buddy. I always like to have my hand underneath just to offer a little support. It makes them feel a little bit more comfortable as well. And then I'm gonna bring the frame closer to his rear and lift up his little rear end. And we do one rear leg at a time going into the leg rings. Good boy. Now we make sure the legs are all the way through. Sometimes the knees will get caught on the leg rings. You want to make sure it is in nice and comfortable. Another important thing with the leg rings, you want to make sure their tail is untucked because that could cause some discomfort. All right, so we're going to go back to the front and we're going to attach the front harness to the frame. Now on the front harness, there are these D-ring clips that have this little circle opening, which actually slides right over the side extenders. And then it will clip right into place. There it is. Those new ones always have a little bit of resistance to them. And again, just on this side extender goes through the little opening and clips right to the frame. All right, so that is set up. As you will see, it does have a slight decline, which I will say is very common for dachshunds, other longer bodied dogs as well. We do normally try to have it as parallel to the ground as we can get it. And there are typically a couple adjustments that we can make to help get it as parallel as we can. But as I did say, with those longer body dogs, it's very normal for a slight incline in that. So normally when they are in the wheelchair, a couple things that we want to look out for is seeing that this black knuckle of the frame is centered with their hip joint. We want that right in the center, and we typically want the side extenders to go halfway into the body so that he is positioned correctly into it. He does seem to try to lay down a little bit, which can be very normal. Good boy, bud.
And then we also want the side extenders to go all the way to the middle of the shoulder blades here. And a lot of the times, if you feel like your dog or your pet is leaning down in the forward position like this, it can either be because they haven't used those muscles in a while, or it could be that they need the front support added to the rear to make it into a full support wheelchair.
Absolutely. And when you do get your wheelchair and you're kind of seeing that happen, definitely give our customer service a call. We're happy to help. We can look at pictures or videos of your pet in the wheelchair, and we can help make any suggestions about adjustments or maybe suggest another product that could be helpful as well. So speaking of other products, with the dachshunds going into wheelchairs, we do have some products that we tend to recommend, not just for dachshunds, but for other longer bodied, deeper chested dogs, just like dachshunds, as well as like corgis and even like Frenchies as well. So we have a couple products that I'm going to go over. So this first one is an alternative to our front harness. This is our front vest harness, which attaches to the wheelchair just like the standard, with the same D-ring clips, but instead of the straps going around, it's actually a neoprene material, nice and stretchy, nice and comfortable, with the Velcro straps that go around the neck and then under the chest, behind the front legs. So that's another option. It can sometimes offer a little bit more comfort as well as a little bit more support because it is a little bit more material, so it is distributing the weight a little bit differently. So that's another option that we have. And then for a lot of longer bodied pets, we will recommend some midsection support. So the wheelchair will automatically come with a belly belt, which is a smaller version of this that would just offer some midsection support right under the lower rib cage. This is an upgraded option that for those longer body dogs we do tend to kind of recommend. This is our belly support. A little bit thicker. It's the belly belt that comes standard with it is going to be about half the size. So this has a lot more stretch to it and can offer a lot more comfort. So I'm going to add this onto the wheelchair for Odie just so you can see how it does attach. So both sides will have a Velcro on it, and you always want to go under and around the frame like this, and it Velcros right to itself. And then on the other side, we will do the exact same. Make sure it's nice and snug. So it is lifting up a little bit more of his midsection and keeping his back nice and stable as well. So those are a couple of the other options that we do have that can offer a little bit more comfort and a little bit more support for your pet while they're in the frame. Good boy, bud.
Does anybody have any questions for Morgan?
Be happy to help.
There are different sizes other than the small. So there is one which is called our mini, which is a size smaller than this one. And then we also have our medium frame and our large frame. And each of those will come with the standard front harness, not the upgraded belly support, but the belly belt, that's optional. The leg rings that hold the rear up in place. And then also, if Morgan wants to discuss the stirrups that come standard for completely paralyzed dogs in the rear, that would be great.
Of course. So these stirrups, let me get them so you can see. These are what they're going to look like when you receive them. So basically, these will attach directly onto the back of the frame, right on these little hooks here. And these can hold the rear feet up and make sure that they're not dragging or scratching on the ground. I won't do that with Odie right now just because he does have some tenderness in the joints of his rear legs, so I don't want to do any pulling on his legs. But basically, the rear feet would come right in here, and you would tighten the little drawstring, and it would hold the rear leg up off the ground, making sure they're not getting hurt and making sure they're comfortable.
So we do have a question. How many times a day can your pet go into the wheelchair, or for how long?
So that is going to be completely up to your pet and their strength. So we typically recommend when you first get the wheelchair, just trying it out for maybe about 10, 15, 20 minutes at a time, but that can be multiple times throughout the day. Basically, bathroom breaks a couple times throughout the day, and when you are using it more, they do kind of build up a little bit more stamina or have a little bit more endurance as well, so they can be in it for longer periods of time. I will say we don't recommend any more than an hour at a time, but that can be an hour several times a day. We always just want to make sure that they are taken out and they have the opportunity to rest in between, because it is being worn when they are being active and it's working their muscles a lot. So we want to make sure they have that rest so the next time they're in it, they have all the energy they want.
And we have another question coming through. Can they go to the bathroom while in the wheelchair?
Yes. So the wheelchair will support their rear end up off the ground, and it will allow them to urinate and defecate while in the frame. If you can see, you can actually see underneath the belly support will stop, and his undercarriage will be free to be able to relieve himself. And in the back here as well, you'll notice there are a couple inches between his bum and the rear bar, and that will allow him to be able to poop while in it. It will take some adjustment time just because they're not able to crouch or squat or lift their leg like normal when trying to go to the bathroom. So it may take maybe a couple of tries to really get the hang of it, but it is something they can definitely do in the wheelchair.
Just a lot of love and support we're getting through the messages. Nice. Thank you, everybody. Does anybody have any other questions? Also, if you have questions, feel free to message us on our Instagram page, Facebook page. You can also send us an email or even call us. Our number is 888-253-0777. And our email is messages@walkinpets.com. And that Walkin' Pets does not have a G, just so we're clear there. And let's see if we have any other last minute questions. A lot of people are giving little Odie man some love.
He's a little tuckered out.
Yes. What size belt should I get for my lab mix who is 50 pounds is a question coming through.
So the size for the belly belt and the belly supports are actually going to be determined by the size wheelchair frame that you have. So Odie is in our small rear frame, so he has our small belly support, and I did also grab the belly belt. So this is the standard one that comes with the wheelchair. This is the small size again. So, and if you were to get a dog for your lab mix, you would most likely be looking at either like a medium, large, or a large size, depending on their weight and their measurements. And again, that would determine the size of the belly belt or belly support. If you got a medium, you would get a medium support. If you got a large frame, you would get the large.
Awesome. Well, we just want to thank you guys for joining us today. We love all the support and love that's coming our way, and we are open to any and all questions. So feel free to message our page.
Yes, reach out anytime. We're always happy to help.
Thank you so much.